Hello traders, Rich here, and here's a quick but detailed update on US500. As usual, if you guys like video analysis, let me know in the comments or simply leave a like. So let's get started. As you can see, US500 has been overall bullish for a while, trading inside this giant rising broadening wedge. So the upper trend lines act as an horizontal resistance, or what I consider an overbought area. So as you can see, rejected it here, here, and here as well. So obviously, as price approaches it, we'll be looking for sell setups. We can start to look for sell setups from here, and we'll know in a bit why on H1 time frame. But we all know that it can still trade higher to around here, to around 200 before going down. And when US 500 goes down, the first rejection area would be around the 4K. In this case, we'll be looking for trend following buy setups around here. And if price breaks it downward, then the next major support area would be around this brown trend line, which is a non-horizontal support. As you can see, rejection here, here, and here as well. So now when we're set in the market from H4, we can zoom into lower time frames to look for what, in this case, for sell opportunities, knowing that this one can still go up before going down. If we zoom into H1 time frame, we can see that we also have this channel in green. So as price approaches this area, it would be a very, very strong area because we have this green trend line, which acts as an overbought area, and this brown trend line also from H4. So this would be a very, very interesting area to look for sell setups. And as I mentioned, from H4 time frame, the first support area would be here, and now it's also stronger because we have this non-horizontal support. So this area would be the intersection of this trend line and the 4K. So long story short, we'll be looking for sell setups now, knowing that it can still go up before going down, and around here we'll be looking for buy setups. Unless price breaks it downward, then we'll be looking for buy setups around the brown trend lines. So now let's zoom into M30 time frame, and we can see that this one is now forming a channel. It's not valid yet because it's only connecting two swing lows. So we'll be waiting for this swing low to form, right, to go up to form this swing low to be full, and then we can consider that the lower trend line is now valid, and this would be our trigger swing. And of course, as usual, you will see me doing something like this for the trigger and writing trigger, right? And as mentioned, from H1, we'll be looking for buy setups as price approaches the intersection of the green trend line and blue 4K. So for now, that's it. We'll be waiting for the conditions to be met. And meanwhile, until this happens, US 500 would be overall bullish and can still trade higher and higher, as mentioned, to around the 4,200 to get to the intersection of the green and brown trend lines before going down. Let's see how it goes. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the next. As we can see, crude oil is sitting inside what I call this floor. So the upper one is our ceiling, and which acts as a resistance. So we'll be looking for sell setups as price approaches it. And the lower one is the floor or the support, where we'll be looking for buy setups. And the reason why we have this red resistance and blue support, if we zoom out, we can see that these two are very strong historical zones. So the red zone was acting as resistance previously, rejected the price downward, then price broke it upward. So now it's acting as a support again and again, then price broke it downward. It's now acting as resistance. We're looking for sell here, here, and here. And if you remember, I've posted a video like a couple of weeks ago that we're looking for sell setups on crude oil since it was approaching this resistance area. So, and the reason why we have this blue zone here is because we've got many rejections from it also. We've got this one here, 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 and here, right? So this is our resistance and this is our support. And now if we zoom in, we can see that price rejected this resistance and traded lower. Now it looks like it's stuck inside this consolidation. So now we have two options from here, either a trend reversal to test the red zone again, or a trend continuation. So it would be like an impulse, right? A small corrective and then impulse again. So if we zoom into H4, we can see that this consolidation from daily is actually a symmetrical triangle forming on H4. And so now to know where the price might go, the price have to break above the upper. Let me show it to you. It has to break above this area, or it has to break below this area, right? So here would be our trigger zone for the buy setup. Let me make it in gray and here as well, and let me make an offset. That's it. So for crude oil to go up, it has to break above this area, and of course it has to form the third swing before, because the upper trend line is only connecting two swings, and the lower trend line as well, only two swings. So we'll be waiting for a third swing to form around our upper orange trend line or lower orange trend line to consider it valid, and then if price breaks it upward, then a movement to our resistance would be expected. In this case, and as per my trading plan, I will be looking for sell setups here. And if the scenario 2 happens and price breaks this one downward, then a movement till our blue zone would be expected. In this case, as mentioned from daily, it would be an impulse and then an impulse again. In this case, I'll be looking for buy setups around the lower blue support. So for now, I will be waiting, as mentioned, for price to choose a land, this or this, to look for buy around here or sell around here. So let's wait for it, and best of luck. As per my last video analysis, we're waiting for Bitcoin to approach the 50k to look for buy setups, or for Bitcoin to close above this bullish candle, which means to close above the 62k to confirm that this area is now broken and can act as a potential support. In this case, of course, we'll be looking for buy setups on the retest. So for now, this is what's happening. But the daily candle isn't closed yet. So we're waiting for this daily candle to close to confirm that it's broken, because it can still close as a wick, right? Just like what happened here. Try to break it to break it upward, and then made a wick from the upper side. And that's why we always wait for two big bullish candles to confirm that this area is broken. So we've got one here, but we didn't have another one. That's why, as mentioned last week, we'll be waiting for another bullish candle closing above it, and that's what's happening now, as I mentioned now. So long story short, we'll be waiting for this daily candle to close. Unless it closed like this as a wick, then this resistance zone would be still holding, and a small retracement may be expected before the bullish movement starts. And if this candle closed like this, or even higher, of course it will be better, then we'll be looking for buy setups on the retest. And if we zoom into H4 time frame, we can see that the view even clearer. That's it. And we can see that Bitcoin is currently trading inside these two green trend lines. Let me make it a little bit lower, and that's it. So we are overall bullish, and when price close, as mentioned from daily time frame, we'll be looking for buy setups on the retest, and the first rejection area would be around the 68 or 70k, where we have the intersection of this trend line and of course the 70k, which is a very strong round number. So that's it. I'll be waiting for Bitcoin to approach here to look for buy setups on lower time frames, and for those who know me know that I zoom into H1 and M30 and look for bullish reversal patterns in this case, which can be an inverse head and shoulders, a trend line break, a double bottom pattern, and so on. And when Bitcoin approaches this area, we can look for sell setups, not to sell Bitcoin, of course, just to know that the corrective mode is about to start, and then we'll be adding more longs around the trend line. So anyway, let's wait for it, and let's monitor the price action step by step. For now, let's wait for the break, and then we'll be looking for buy setups on the retest. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the next